What is up, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Slick and Dip Podcast. This is the 21st episode. I am Matthew Wells. Alongside me, as always, Kendrick Johnson, sitting right across the room from me over there. What's going on, Kendrick?
Hold it down, man. I'm excited for this ballet show. Got a little everything coming, man. A little everything.
Yeah, man.
We're going the show in the right way.
Grow the show indeed. We do have a special guest for you guys again. Our returning guest and new guest. We do have with us today, we have Miss Mikaela Meyer. She is a Olympic boxer, just turned pro, just racked up her second win in devastating fashion. She is something special. She's one to look out for. Her goal is to be the face of women's boxing in the near future, and I'm not one to argue with that point because she's looking every bit the part so far.
Yeah, she do her thing. She's solid. She has a style that you can't really even pace because she has a lot of different fighters, and she combines it. And she's getting the results, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see her develop and grow. And she's a pretty lady, and she's nice inside and outside the ring. It's what you want. Got the cute face, got the talent, and they're a great person. That's all you can ask for in a hopefully future champion.
I believe they call that the total package in the marketing world. You know what I'm saying? She's definitely got the looks. She's marketable. She can do a bunch of different things as she grows her boxing career. But we'll get to that interview here in a few minutes. Just to give you a quick rundown of what we're going to be doing in this episode, we're gonna recap the previous weekend's action. Bellator 183, I'll touch on that real quick. UFC Japan, and then we'll hop into the interview with Mikaela. And then after the fact, it would be remiss if we didn't finish this episode with at least touching on the protests going on in the world, the NFL, and of course our opinions on that. So we will hop into that after the interview with Mikaela. Let's start it off. Bellator 183. Happened this past weekend. It was actually on Saturday, and UFC was on Friday. But we're going to work backwards. So we're going to talk a little bit about what happened on the Bellator card.
Heard it was a snoozer.
It was actually a really good card, considering Bellator cards. You know, Bellator cards, they're really
hit and miss.
Yeah. I mean, this was actually a really good Bellator card, all things considered. Of course, the headliner was Benson Henderson taking on Pitbull. And forgettable fight, man. Benson Henderson no longer looking like the champion that he was in the UFC. It looks like he's kind of just going out there going through the motions in a lot of ways. But, you know, that's what it is. Obviously, he's been through a lot as a fighter. I don't know if, his days are numbered or what. But, he said after the fact he can't have all these close fights anymore, and I 100% agree. But, looking at it, I think the biggest takeaway for me, Aaron Pico is like their highest touted prospect, right? He's the guy that Bellator wants to have kind of carry that torch into the future for him.
I think he's got he's green, like, guy got knocked out, a beautiful knockout. You can't, nobody, Steve Wonder could see that knockout was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's like, is he really the goods? Because, of course, he's young and got holes in his game, but it's like, is he committed to... Because he got gaping holes, like he can't wrestle. So it's like, is he committed to making that, building on that? Like, I don't know if he has championship skill, but he don't have a championship mindset. Let me go circle Yair Rodriguez in UFC.
Wow, shots fired at Yair Rodriguez.
No, I like Yair, but the brother can't wrestle, and we saw that UFC 213.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, man. We'll see how it goes. I mean, you got to think about Aaron Pico. He's really, really young.
Green.
Really, really young. He's got a lot of time left. Of course, Big Roy Nelson's on the card as well. I'll see him right here in the highlights if you're watching on our YouTube. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Links will be in our podcast description. Roy Nelson, I mean, does Roy Nelson things. He gets you on the ground. He's going to lay on you for 2.5 rounds, and that's what he did.
He's a black belt, but I've never seen him submit nobody.
He doesn't have to. I mean, he's
well, like for instance, there's no reason he shouldn't have submitted Derek Lewis.
Yeah.
There was no reason he shouldn't have submitted Derek Lewis.
No, Derek. I mean, he proved he had a chin in that fight. Both of them did. But, after that fight was another highlight reel of a fight between Paul Daly and Lorenz Larkin.
Man, both of them over the hill, man. I don't care for either one of them.
What? Man, look at this finish right here.
Wow! Paul Daly's got the hands.
Paul Daly's got the hands, boy.
But tell me this, can Paul Daly beat somebody younger than him?
Yeah,
like way younger. I know Lorenz is young. I'm talking about like under 30.
Absolutely. Look at this. If he touches you, you're going night-night. Like, I mean, that's just that simple. If he gets that,
Can he still wrestle? Can he still not wrestle?
He can still wrestle. He actually surprised people trying to get the takedowns in this fight against Lorenz. But
that's a beautiful knockout, though.
Paul Daly's the man. I really wish he didn't go after. I forget who it was, man. I'm drawing
Koscheck.
Yes, Koscheck. I really wish he didn't do that to Koscheck. Who knows where Paul Daly's career would be right now?
What do you think about Ben Henderson's career, man? It's like he's a really good guy, but it seems like he's better off being a trainer than being a fighter these days. No pun intended. Like, he had his time. It's like his time is over with.
Ben Henderson is always on. He's definitely in one of my all-time favorite categories.
Yeah, he's top 10.
Yeah,
but it's like, though, his best days are. I know he's in early 30s, but it seems like the game's kind of passed him by.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair to Benson, like, his past few fights, he has been fighting hurt, like basically on one leg in his past few fights, and supposedly he was supposed to be closer to 100% for this one, but we just didn't see that effort there, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if he can get that back or what, but hopefully so. You know, I want to see Benson do his thing again, man. So overall, a lot of exciting finishes. The Larkin finish was exciting. Aaron Pico's finish was exciting. I'm sorry, the finish of Larkin by Paul Daly.
But I just saw the highlight. Didn't watch the fight. Oh man, I'm not a Bellator fan. I watch when I get paid. But but that goes. My theory is in full effect. He wants to get in this Mexican style showdown and go toe to toe and pay the price. Why?
I don't know, man. Hey, it's exciting.
I really do feel for the fighters. Like, all these people want them to go toe to toe, and we've seen them people stumbling in the walls and shit in the back, and nobody sees them but us. Them people that were yelling, they don't care about those people. They can barely even go to the locker room, let's known, get on a plane and fly home safely. Like, it's not. I guess we see too much of the real side of the sport.
Yeah, we definitely do. We definitely do. That's why, as you say, what is cool about getting hit? At the end of the day, man, somebody's gonna go home hurt. So, you know, that's the thing.
With that being said, I say all that. I do want to see Kevin and Tony go toe to toe, but I'm really excited for that fight. But I'm also cool watching it be technical because they're both good chess players. But I think people are sleeping on how good of a chess player Kevin Lee is. Like, he's just the brother that showed up at the dinner and said, "I'm here."
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So that's why he's a friend of the show. But I have that after seeing him at the whatchamacallit, I'm pumped up for that. I know we still got. I think we don't got that much time. We got 2 weeks.
Got a couple weeks. It's coming up quick, man.
Yeah, I'm pumped up for that though.
Yeah, that's going to be the next card for the UFC coming up. Will be that Tony Ferguson. Of course, Mighty Mouse from Ray Borg is on that card again. In the second slot, man, that's kind of...
Man.
Listen, I understand completely because Kevin Lee, Tony Ferguson is a fight everybody wants to see, but this is a record-breaking title fight, and you're putting it on second billing. That's
people outside of UFC don't want to see. You got the random person that be at Hooters or Twin Peaks. They don't care about Mighty Mouse. They want to see the Tony and Kevin Lee, the noise talking, and two dudes that gonna go at it versus Mighty Mouse systematically break somebody down and get a win. Like, I can see why UFC did what they did, and not to be funny, Mighty Mouse doesn't do numbers.
Hey,
that's really all UFC care about. If he did numbers, he'd be main eventing.
No, I get it. I get all of that, but from the sporting aspect of it, if championships really mean anything in this sport. If UFC championships really mean anything in this sport, exactly. You answered my question. So let's hop into we'll break down that card more next week
for sure
as we get into it. But UFC Japan is the card that went down on Friday.
I skimmed through it. I watched, of course, the main event and the co-main. Mm-hmm. Very impressed by Jessica Andrade, put their hands on Cordelia. But here's the funny thing. We love JJ. We just about to get her on the show. And what we saw, because we were both K-side, literally like first and second row, when JJ beat Andrade, and we saw that beat down in person. Mm-hmm. And it was not even close. As the quote for Mayweather Sr., I must confess, it was no contest.
Yeah.
So if we saw that and she did what she did to Cordelia, what is the gap between Joanna and the whole division? To me, that's like the glaring question.
It's huge. I mean, it's huge. But I tell you what, if this Jessica Andrade shows up against JJ again, I don't know, man.
I still think she gets beat because JJ's not going to tell you that you hit me, I hit you.
Right.
Delia tried and it didn't work out. But the most impressive part was she slammed her like I don't know. I know she's an okay wrestler and she's a black belt, but she bullied the bully.
Yeah, that was surprising. I think that's why. And, a lot of people were saying like this is the greatest women's fight ever.
I can't say that.
No, I can't say that either. I can't say that either. Yeah, I think more people were caught up in the surprise of how well Jessica Andrade did against Claudia, which added to the greatness of the fight. Because after the first two rounds rather, third round it became clear. Yeah, Jessica's running away with this. Claudia she had her moments here and there, but it was like. Yeah,
he said she was fighting.
Dominated.
She was fighting in spurts, and Jessica didn't let off the gas.
Yeah.
And when Jessica had her moment, she overwhelmed her. Like her moments weren't like 15 minutes. Her was like 2 minutes.
Right. Exactly.
I was like, Claudia got a chin, and she's a champ because she kept coming. Yeah. But I think her footwork got exposed. It's not as good as whatever she's learning down there in New Mexico. It's not working out for her because she got lit up by the foot, and that discouraged her. And then she let her guard down on the wrestling and got dominated. I think that to me that's what I saw happen. She got broke down mentally and physically. And even when Joanna, she didn't necessarily get broke down mentally, but physically. But she got broke down mentally. I think more than physically.
Probably so. I mean,
because you see the face at the second half. It wasn't even from getting hit. She swung and missed it, but she got taken down. She actually got back up. Yeah. She didn't this ain't supposed to happen. She had that look like this ain't supposed to happen.
Right. Yeah. I think she was definitely surprised at how hard Jessica was coming at her. I mean, I wasn't surprised at all. I mean, if you watch any of Jessica Andrade's fights, that's how she fights. She gets in your face like she.
But she don't wrestle like that though. I was thrown off out of wrestling.
Yeah. She usually tries to.
She was bullying the bully.
It's opponent dependent with her. Really, I mean, she tried to stand and trade with Angela Hill, and of course that fight was amazing in its own right, just because of how wild and brawl-like it got. It was one of those just bleed type fights, But yeah, I mean, hats off to Jessica Andrade for getting it done in that impressive fashion for sure. Other thing, I mean, OSP got another Von Flue choke on Yushin Okami. Listen, it's impressive to hit that move again, but Yushin Okami, a welterweight fighting a lightweight or a light heavyweight on a week's notice. I mean, this is the result everybody should have expected. OSP to just run through dude, and that's what it was.
But the thing was, what did this fool shoot for? Like, that's amateur. Like, you don't do that shit in Legacy, bro.
Listen.
Maybe he's just like, I'm just gonna go balls to the wall and do something crazy. Like, what was he thinking?
If I'm Yushin Okami and I'm a Japanese fighter and the card is in Japan and you get that call, hey, I know you're welterweight. We need somebody. Step in. You're gonna be the main event. You're gonna get paid. Alright, I'm gonna come in there, try to take as least damage as possible. I'm gonna go in there and pull a guard right off the bat and see what happens. Because for one, you don't want to stand and trade with Ovens. Especially if you're not a striker. And Yushin Okami's not that great of a striker.
No.
He's more of a grappler. And so, I mean, I get it. I get the move. But he made the cardinal mistake against Ovince Prue. Don't wrap your arm around the back of his head when he's got you in side control. Because the Von Flue choke is coming.
Vince Flute choke. They should change it.
The Von Flue choke is it's officially been dubbed by the internet people now. So I'm not mad at it. That's what it needs to be called, man. Other news, Takanori Gomi, please retire. Gokhan Saki, impressive, vicious left hook knockout in his UFC debut.
But they act like he's just going to be this technical wizard. Like, bruh, like, you got major holes. I know he's new to the MMA, but...
Oh, dude, he was lighting him up on the feet, though. Lighting him up on the feet. Wrestling, the wrestling and jiu-jitsu side... Obviously, it's going to have to go a long way, but
precision striking. If you go train with this dude, you train at your own risk.
Yeah. So I don't expect. He already said he kind of dropped a hint that he's got another fight already in the works. I haven't seen any reports about confirming that or anything like that, but whoever his next opponent is going to be, I guarantee they're going to try and get that man to the ground and see what they're about because nobody's going to want a piece of that dude on the feet. He's absolutely vicious on the feet. And that's really, our main takeaways, I think, unless there's anything else from that card that kind of stood out to you. No? Nothing else from that card? Nah,
It is what it is. It's a UFC fight night card.
Pretty much it. But I think, obviously fight of the night, Claudia Gadelha, Jessica Andrade, stole the show. Should have been the main event in the first place. Should have been the main event. But so let's parlay the talk of women's fighting into our interview with Miss Mikaela Mayer. Obviously, she's not a UFC fighter. She's not an MMA fighter.
But she spars with them. She sparred with Rose Namajunas and Ronda Rousey to get ready for the Nunes fight. It looked like Ronda didn't listen to her lessons.
Absolutely, yeah. She's an impressive athlete, man. If you have not seen her most recent fight, do yourself a favor and go find that. It's on YouTube right now, actually, so you can find it actually very easy if you just search her name, Mikaela Mayer, and you'll see the devastation. You'll see the devastation. You'll see the technical prowess. She's vicious, man. She's vicious. So without any more delay, here's our interview. Kendrick set this up for us on this episode. Miss Mikaela Mayer coming right at you.
We'd like to welcome Mikaela Mayer to the Slip and Dip podcast. Thanks for joining us. The new face of boxing. Do you like when people call you the women's face of boxing? Is that something that you feel pressure, or is that something that you embrace?
No, I mean I definitely don't feel pressure with that. I mean, one of the reasons I turned pro in the first place is because I wanted a bigger stage. I wanted to do more for women's boxing and kind of bring it back, put it back on the map. So yes, bring on the pressure.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the first questions that come to mind for me, Mikaela, is, we know, you competed in the Olympics, you represented the country well, and of course when a lot of amateur boxers, these days it seems like they're having to make that choice between boxing or MMA. What was the reason you decided to go to boxing, decide to represent in that sport instead of jumping to MMA?
Well, yeah, so there's a few reasons why that seemed kind of like an obvious thought for me, because that's where I'm getting acknowledgement, getting their respect, and the money's good, and so I really, really think that's what I found to keep up with the sport. But what kept me in boxing was getting a major promoter behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I think that's been like the problem in the past. It's just, one, women didn't have the platform of the Olympics, and now we do. And two, we haven't had major promoters backing us. So because I sat down Top Rank and they told me everything I wanted to do, they were for it. They saw the videos I saw. I said, okay, I have to finish where I started in boxing. It was just, I think I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to have to go to MMA, but I had to think about my future. I only have about 6 years left in this career. But I love boxing. I had a vision to grow boxing since I started, so I'm really happy that I stuck in my confidence and kind of finished this goal that I had.
Okay. And do you ever, obviously, you have a long way to go in boxing. You're just getting started. We're looking at, your third pro fight coming up now. What do you plan to always stay in boxing, or if, a Bellator or a UFC approaches you in the future after you get, more wins and more notoriety, which you're already starting to get a lot of right now, would that be something that you would entertain later on?
Right now is actually I see myself doing in the immediate future, but I can never say no, because I really just don't know in the next few years what doors are going to open, what doors are going to close for me. So I couldn't say no, but right now, we'll see where it goes from there, but who knows?
Well, Mikaela, could you repeat that? You cut out on us. You're going in and out.
Oh, I am?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to... Can you hear me? Because I'm kind of getting, some back talk.
Yeah, I can hear you now. You're good now.
Okay.
Okay.
No, yeah, I can never say no. I mean, who really knows? Because I don't really know in the next few years what kind of doors are going to open for me, what's going to close. So I can never say never, but right now I really have to focus on seeing what I can do for women's boxing. You saw what someone like Ronda Rousey did for women's MMA. So, let's try to do that for boxing. Let's try and bring it back. And if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be girls like me, girls like Clarissa Shields, Katie Taylor. I mean, we're the ones we're the era who can do it.
Absolutely.
So would you say that you and Carissa are focused on being the queens of boxing? And can you explain on y'all relationship with her already being a champion and being a great woman and representing the sport at such a young age already?
Yeah, well, me and Clarissa have known each other for years, and we had the pleasure of making the Olympic team together and going to Rio, and it was just us two. So that's something that we'll always share, and we'll always be Olympic sisters. Every day we talk to this day, a few times a week, and I support everything she's done. I've been to her fight. She hasn't been to my fight yet, but I know she'll be at the next one or the one after that. And yeah, we're supporting each other. We're both doing this to better make develop a path for the next generation below us.
And I know Matt touched on about you maybe going to MMA in the future. He gives some insight into spar with some MMA people, being that you've been sparred with Ronda Rousey before and Rose Namajunas. Is it completely different being in that world to get them ready for fights, or it's kind of like similar things? Is it's kind of you guys have to adapt to whatever rules you're dealing with?
I mean, I can imagine it's completely different. I only did boxing sparring with them, so I couldn't really give you like a perfect answer on that, but I can imagine it's very different. I'm only focused on one thing, and that's hands. MMA, you're focused on knees and takedowns and elbows, so yeah, seems like a lot.
Gotcha. I want to ask you a question about your experience with the Olympics in 2016. Obviously, we know you're eliminated in the quarterfinals, but what was your I guess your favorite memory about that whole experience?
Favorite memory? God, that's a hard question. Because I feel like I left the Olympics really like a really unfulfilled. Like, it wasn't to me like the most amazing experience that I had. It's almost like I expected to have more or feel more than what I did when I left the Olympics. And I think that was maybe one of the reasons why I started to maybe look at other opportunities and kind of see what else is out there. And it just wasn't everything that I expected. I didn't have everything that I thought things were going to come together. I feel like maybe a lot of Olympians feel that way after they spend so much time training for it. And then at the end of the day, it's like, okay, now I just do this all over again. Like, my life hasn't really changed all that much. I mean, I didn't get the results I wanted. And I just thought, like, do I want to save another 4 years this all over again? Because we worked so hard to make that Olympic team, and no one really sees that work outside of the Olympic year. But in between those Olympic years, I mean, we're busting our ass, and we're constantly traveling, we're constantly competing. And I've gotten more press in these last 3 fights turning pro than I did my entire amateur career. I mean, maybe not my entire amateur career. There was parts where there was a lot of publicity, but you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of work for not a lot of reward. And I wanted a bigger stage. I wanted to do more. And so I started looking for, like, other options and other possibilities.
Mikaela, can you sort of expand upon being active? Do you plan on keep fighting? Like, you're already in line for your 3rd fight in, like, 6 months. Is that something that's going to be a staple of your boxing career? And does having no gear on or headgear, is that more suited to you? Because it seems like your combinations are getting people out of there quick.
Yeah, I feel like I'm acclimating to the pro style very well. You know, I got a new trainer, too, out here in Stockton, and we were really focused on making those tiny but really important changes in my style. And, yeah, I do plan on staying busy. That was another thing reason why I was only going to turn pro if I had a big promoter behind me, because I needed to be active. I wasn't going to sit here and fight twice a year for no recognition and no support. And so me and Top Rank, I think we have in my team, we all have a really good plan. We plan on keeping me busy. Yeah.
So how many times do you plan on fighting in 2018?
I will probably fight at least 5 times in 2018.
Wow. So you just stay in the gym.
Yeah. I'm used to it. I'm used to fighting 5 times in 1 week. I mean, I'm only going 4 rounds right now, so I want to stay busy. I want to build my record. I want to like get to the big fights. I want to show people. I want to put on a show. I want to be on main cards. I want to do things that women's boxing hasn't done since Layla Ali days.
Very cool. So your next fight coming up on December 9th, it's a pretty huge one. I mean, you're fighting at the Garden. of all places.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be pretty huge, right?
Yeah, it's a really, really awesome feeling. I mean, it's just so different than everything I've been used to, but it's what I asked for, and I'm grateful that, you know, Top Rank didn't just sign me and put me on the back burner. They're doing what they said they were going to do, so it's great.
Is it cool working with a legend like Bob Arum? Because you know how he's like a mixed bag. Some people love him, some people hate him. I just cool to be associated with a legend like that, because regardless if you love him or hate him, you know who he is.
Right. No. I don't hate anyone or anything. I don't even like using that word. But I've met him a few times, obviously, and Todd DeBuff, I think, who's the president of Top Rank, I think he's the one who kind of, you know, pushed Bob and was like, listen, times are changing. Look what Ronda Rousey did for the UFC. Like, this is a good thing. We're going to do this. We're going to sign a girl. He was like, all right, let's go for it. I mean, I don't know the exact conversation they had, but I think Todd was the one to put the bird in his ear, so.
Do you have anybody that you got your eye on? And I know we talked about this before in past interviews. You think more people are taking you seriously for your skills? Or like, oh, look at this cute chick. Oh, she can throw a couple punches. How do you get over that hurdle?
No, I definitely want people to take me seriously. You think, like, making an Olympic team and all that would, like, finally, like, earn some respect. But, you know, there's still some naysayers. There's still some people who think that we don't belong on the big stage or, you know, have some negative things to say. But for the most part, I've had a lot of really good feedback. So, you know, I hope that comes. And as for my future opponents, I'm going to leave this at the Top Rank and my coaches. You know, my coach from my old school, I'm still working with Al Mitchell, and he's done this for decades, and this is what he does. So I'm going to trust in my team, trust in my promoter. But by the end of my career, I plan to have fought all the top girls. I want to fight everyone. I don't want to just go through my professional career taking mediocre fights. I want big fights, and I want exciting fights. I feel like women have a duty to kind of be exciting at this stage because we're still trying to prove a lot of people wrong. We're still trying to prove that we belong in the sport and that we can headline big shows and be exciting. So that's what I feel I have a duty to do.
Absolutely. I want to ask you something about a little bit of that you kind of touched on there at the beginning. You know, you said you don't like the word hate, you don't like to use that word, but have you had anybody come at you sideways on social media just yet? Or has everybody been pretty cordial to you?
I think everyone, maybe like a few weird comments that I got, but I don't know. I feel like I'm a pretty like positive, happy, accepting person in general. So I feel like I attract that from other people, and I don't really have a lot of negativity on my page. And so far, people have been really accepting, so which is great because you never know.
That's good. That's good. If you did have a particular, you know, potential hater out there, what would be your message to them?
Nothing. I would just smile and continue on my merry way. You know, I'm not doing this for anyone. I mean, I'm doing this for someone other than myself, but at the end of the day, I'm staying true to who I am. I'm following my passion. I work hard. I do good by people. So, you know, I'm content with myself, and if someone else isn't content with me, then I'm okay with it too.
Mikaela, we know that you're known for being very technical and very dedicated to the sport. Do you think anybody can? Because you just talked about there being excitement. Do you feel like you have to get into the wars to get people to watch the whole "you hit me, I hit you" type action, or can you be technical superior like you've been so far and get people still to watch without saying, "Oh"? Because as Matt likes to know those from the show, I like to say, what is cool about getting hit?
No, I think that's exactly what women's boxing doesn't need. We don't need to go in there and you hit me, now I hit you, now you hit me, and just be a slugfest. Like, people need to see that women have actual skill. So offense, defense, footwork, ring generalship. I want to show those assets of my style in my fights. No one wants to sit there and get hit. Come on, like we don't. I mean, it happens, but that's never been my style, and I want to show that I can be quick and punch with power and do flashy combinations and good defense. I want to show a variety of skills in my fights.
Is it me? It seemed like, not that you didn't have a killer instinct in the amateurs, but it seemed like you kind of like a tiger. Like, you do your thing, you lay your trap, you throw combinations, and once you get somebody hurt, you get them out of there. Is that pretty accurate of what, since you turned pro, what you've been doing?
Yeah, well, there's a few reasons why I think like I've kind of switched over. One, there's different mindset in the amateurs. At least for me there was. It wasn't knock them out. It was hit, not get hit, flip, counter, score, and win the round. We had bigger pillowy gloves on. We had a headgear. So it was just a little bit of a different tactic. Now I'm going in there, and the first thing I said when I put on those 8-ounce gloves, I'm like, oh my God, these gloves are for children. They were so tiny on my hand. I was just like, I can't believe this is legal. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to hit this person so hard. It felt like everything was going to be different. And they have no headgear. And then I also just think that I hate the word amateur because I competed as an amateur for so long, but we're not amateurs. I mean, we're professional amateurs. And the girls I fought and the experience that I've gained being an elite amateur like that is just, I see it now. I see it now crossing over to the pros, and my speed and my timing and my distance, everything is just on another level. And I think my biggest fights are going to be against other Olympians.
Absolutely.
In the next year or two. You know, that's how it's going to be.
Absolutely. So I'm curious, how big of a fan of combat sports are you? I mean, obviously, being a fighter is one thing, but how much do you watch of boxing? How much boxing do you watch? How much MMA do you watch? Or is it just, you're a fighter and that's all you can really focus on, and you spend your free time completely away from the sport?
No, so when I haven't always been like a huge professional boxing fan, I swear. I mean, if you would have asked me 3 years ago, I would have said, no, I'm going to be a professional amateur. I'm never going to turn pro. I just didn't see it, and it's like a totally different world. And I was really more of a MMA fan, to be honest, and that's what I would go and tune in to watch. But also because MMA has been so much more accessible, and that was one of the things that I love about Top Rank is that they signed with ESPN, and so now you can go to the restaurant, you can go to the bars, you can turn on the boxing fights. It's just become so much more accessible to the public eye. So, but yeah, now I'm watching way more professional boxing now that I'm pro. Weird how it works like that.
Here's another two-part question, Mikaela. Who's your favorite person to watch in boxing, male or female? And in the MMA, for people either you spar with them or whatever, who's somebody that you look to?
Well, my favorite boxer of all time, Sugar Ray Leonard. His combinations, footwork. Nowadays, big fan of Terrence Crawford. I'm really looking forward to this bringing down Lomachenko fight. I know I'm not just biased. I'm actually looking forward to that. It's the first time in history that two people have gone against each other who are both a double Olympic gold medalist. So that's pretty amazing. As for MMA, I was always a huge Ronda Rousey fan. So going to spar with her was a really amazing experience. But, she's done so much for women's boxing, for women's MMA that I can't help but to idolize how she did that, because I obviously want to try and do some of the same things.
How was it cool to spar with her and be in the ring and give her some advice? And who do you think gonna win that Rose and Joanna fight at UFC 217 at MSG right before you fight?
Yeah, okay, so I actually worked a little bit with Rose on the back when I lived in Colorado Springs, because she was in Denver. And when I was dabbling with the idea of MMA, I hit her up and I was like, hey, Dan, come down there and work out a little bit. And we did some boxing sparring. And even before that, I was always a big Rose Namajunas fan. And I know she's fighting Joanna, who I'm also a fan of. Joanna's really great. She actually has a really nice hand for an MMA fighter. I feel like she could be a really good Olympic-style boxer. But if anyone can beat her, I really feel like Rose can. So I have to go Team Rose because I've been a fan with her for a long time, and obviously I worked for her a couple of months ago, but she's a really cool girl. I have to go for Rose for sure. So I'm going for the underdog because I like going for the underdog.
Calling for the upset. Nice. I like it. So what would you say is your, being a big Ronda Rousey fan, does she represent your favorite MMA memory or your favorite combat sports memory, or is there some other particular moment? Is it, old school Muhammad Ali type thing? What's your favorite combat sports moment? Let me ask you that.
Oh my God! You should have sent this message over to me in an email before the interview. Oh God, I don't know.
Candidness is best. That's what they say, you know. Gotta catch you off guard a little bit.
I don't know. I really don't know. My favorite combat sports moment will be when Top Rank puts me in a potential opponent on a main event card pay-per-view for the first time in how long? So how about that?
All right.
So it's
past, I don't know.
Not mad at that at all.
So it's TBA then.
Huh?
So your moment's TBA then, to be announced.
Yeah, to be announced.
All right. I like it. I like it. Very cool.
So how would you Mikaela, how would you sum up your 2017, since it's a banner year professionally, personally? Like, if you get this win in December, how would that cap off this year, and how can you describe it?
Wow, it's been a really, really crazy year because I feel like I went through so much the first half of it where I was just so kind of like mentally, I wasn't lost because I knew I was just kind of in a transition. You know, I was still in the training center, but the Olympics were over, and I was kind of just wondering, like, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? And I went from feeling that way to exploring all these different options, and then to where I am now, and I feel like really content with where I am in life. I always wondered, like, why did I lose the Olympics? Like, why did that go through that? Because, you know, sometimes really bad things will happen, and 6 months later, 2 weeks later, whatever, a year later, you'll be like, oh, okay, that's why that happened. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if I maybe everything that I wanted to go, if everything happened the way I wanted to at the Olympics, maybe I wouldn't be where I am today. You know, maybe I would have won a medal and then wanted to go for another one. Everything would have been really great, and I would have explored this option. But I'm really happy with where I am. I'm really, really happy with the decision I made to turn pro. And so the first few months were a little rough on me mentally, but now I'm in a really good place. So I figured it all out, and I'm really excited for what's to come. It's like the possibilities are endless to me.
Awesome. Some exciting stuff coming ahead from Miss Mikaela Meyer, for sure. Now go ahead, get
it's like you holding it down.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm excited. You know, I feel like I'm in a good place, and I got a good team. And yeah, we'll see.
So you're going to be heading into this Christmas with another win under your belt, correct?
Yeah, I don't plan on losing. I want to be undefeated. I want to keep up the knockouts. I'm really motivated to just do well, and I'm working really hard. And so I'm excited. I just need the believers, the fan base.
Yeah. Will we see you doing any photo shoots or anything? Since we know you work with the talented Eric Williams and all that, or are you just gonna keep it straight boxing, or are you gonna kind of balance the two, since that's what makes you money and it's part of the game, as they say?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have a few different sides to me, so I would want to show all those sides. You know, I'm more than just a gritty boxer. Like, I feel like I have a very feminine side too, and yeah, why not show both?
Absolutely. I mean, that's going to be the best way to get your name out there. You know, make some more money for yourself and improve your stock as a star, so to say. I mean, so what's the one thing that boxing fans, combat sports fans should know about Mikaela Meyer that somebody may not know just yet? I'm stumping you with everything tonight.
God, so many things. I don't know. I came from a family of, like, hippie artists, first of all. Nobody in my family boxes. And I kind of just started the way any other young boxer would start. I walked into going through some things in school, and things aren't really working out in my favor, and I decided to do something new, do something different. And there was a Muay Thai gym by my house, and I just walked in and signed myself up, and it changed everything. So, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people could probably relate to certain parts of my story and why I am where I am today. So, I just feel like I'm a real person.
Now, I did see a video that said a little bit about that story about you getting started, that it started after a failed relationship. Is that true?
A failed relationship?
Yeah, like some issues with an old boyfriend or something kind of sparked it. I saw this video online. I don't know if this was true or not. So can you confirm that or?
Oh, no, I started because there might have been a comment of a boyfriend involved somewhere, but I started because I was, like, in my 4th high school.
Gotcha.
And I just, like, wasn't really zoned in and focused on anything, and I just knew that I had more than that to offer, and that I was meant to do more than that, and so it literally just started with the idea of trying something new and doing something productive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think when I got the scholarship to go to Michigan to go train with Coach Al, I said, okay, I'm out of here, peace, and I broke up with my boyfriend, so I left LA.
Okay.
And I quit my job, broke up with my boyfriend. I didn't care. I was like, I want to go make an Olympic team. I was like 20 years old. I just started a few years ago, and I up and left. I just left everything in LA. So that must have been what you heard.
Gotcha. I appreciate you clearing that up for us.
Can you talk about your friend Kamaru? How's it cool to see him knocking out people now?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Me and Kamaru dated I don't even know how old I was, a long time ago, because he was a wrestler at the training center. That was his dream to go make it in the UFC, and we separated before he did go to the UFC, but I'm happy he made it, and good for him. He's doing well.
Very cool. Yeah, he was on our last episode. He was nice enough to join us and talk about his most recent win and everything like that. So it's pretty cool to have him on. He's a nice dude.
Can we get you when you win in December? Can we get you back on we can make this a tradition? After you fight, you come on and talk about your latest masterpiece.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. We'll come back on after the fight.
Absolutely. Awesome, man. Mikaela, I appreciate you coming on the Slip and Dip podcast.
Sure, we both do.
It's been real fun talking to you, getting to know a little bit more about you. Thanks for opening up with us. And I look forward to talking to you after your win on December 9th.
And enjoy your downtime. I know you live in the gym, so I'm glad you're getting a little R&R so you recharge your battery so we can watch you put on the show at the Garden.
Yes, well, I'll definitely come back on afterwards. I'll keep up with some video and stuff. You guys can keep up with what I'm doing. In the gym, you can.
I told her next time we will get it on video, man. I told her next time be ready.
Yes, absolutely. We'll get you on video next time. People out there, follow Mikaela on Twitter at Mikaela Meyer1, Instagram at Mikaela Meyer. Is there anywhere else that you can be reached online?
Nope. I'm on Facebook, but my jam is Instagram, so.
Jam is Instagram. That's a new hashtag right there. My jam is Instagram. We'll start that one tonight. We'll get that one fired up. I appreciate it, Mikaela. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. I'll be in touch.
Bye.
Bye. Big shout out to our girl Mikaela Meyer, a new friend of the show. We got us a built-in, man. We got a little tradition we're gonna start now. She knock them out. She come on Slip and Dip podcast.
Absolutely. Talks about how she slipped and dipped them and knocked them out. Hey, man, she's an impressive athlete, man. She really is.
Great person.
Great personality. She's definitely got her head in the right place. I like what she said about haters. You know, she's not giving them the time of day.
Dude, you the stunt master, man. You going Ariel Hawani up in this bug of her, bro.
Listen. She said she wished she had a little bit of time to write down some of these questions. I don't write down my questions 90% of the time when I do it.
Yeah, we do everything. Everything's ad lib and larger than charge live up in here. We don't do no scripted.
Yes, like I don't do it. I just like to kind of go with the flow of the conversation. I know some guys want to have everything written down on a notepad, and I get it. In case, especially if it's someone you don't know anything about.
Hashtag new media.
Yeah, if you don't know anything about somebody, have some questions ready, maybe.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. As you know, I do other things outside of sports. I be on the damn red carpet in L.A. at the ESPYs. Don't be knowing these people. Barely know their face. Right. Oh, what movie we in? So tell me about your latest project. People, not necessarily her, but people, especially high-profile athletes, celebrities, movie stars, want to talk about themselves or what they got going on. I've had series of like 4 or 5 minute conversations. So tell me what your next project is, and they just go away. I'm just like, okay.
See, that's what it is, man.
There's a little trick to y'all young journalists. Hashtag new media out there.
Yeah, man. It's good to have, obviously, a good launching pad idea of where you want to go with it. Listen, if you're sitting down with someone and you're trying to get a specific answer, at it, and kind of steer the conversation in a certain way, you're gonna have certain things written down.
Or go like our boy Jim Edwards and just throw out that UK accent.
just throw them all types of off guard.
Shout out to the Strawweight champion. We gotta get him to come on the show. He's been itching to come on. We're gonna get you over for the end of 2017, Jim.
We do. Absolutely. Yeah, man.
Not to cut you off, but I just popped in my head. I'm booking my ticket. I'll be in 217 New York. Man, we can take the slip and dip to NYC.
Absolutely. I'm gonna look into getting my way to that card as well, man.
Yeah.
It's
You gotta kick
card.
it, man. That was the letdown last year. Like, man, I'm having a good time in the Big Apple. Conor McGregor then went viral, got me 35,000 clicks. And my partner, I ain't even here to kick it. Anybody that's covered UFC, that's got to be one of the top fight weeks of all time. From that Wednesday to that Sunday night ass whooping to Conor McGregor asking for stock, which he probably got down in the company or equity, whatever you want to call it, ownership, and saying he's about to have a kid, which led to the Mayweather McGregor. That whole week was classic. To the chair, dude comes out in the mink coat with the chair and basically won the fight that day. Yeah. Eddie Alvarez was shook. And then said, I will take care of you in two, and that's what happened. And then the whole Tyrant and Wonder Boy fight, and then Joanna put on the clinic and survived getting caught. That's just a classic night. So I'm thinking, like, hopefully that people will go for it, knowing that level is. Yeah, I'm just something in my minority. I hope GSP get finished, and I like GSP.
Dang. Wow, that's strong right there.
I'm not saying he will. I'm standing broke it down. I hope, because it's a bogus fight. There's no reason he ain't gonna fight there. It's a money grab, bro. You ain't been in sport damn near 4 years. You ain't never fighting the weight class. Hope you get smushed. While we know why you're ultimately a welterweight.
Pretty much. I mean that is very true in a lot of ways, and just based on the fact that he's smaller. He is a smaller dude. Like, you'll see that size. We've already seen the size difference on stage when they were doing,
But not even just the size. People are not talking about the knee injury. Well, he's had 2 ACLs since he retired.
For sure. But I'm talking about, like, Bisping is going to look huge against him in there. And Bisping he's a grinder. People don't understand how much of a grinder Michael Bisping is.
Yeah.
Like, that's how he wins a lot of his fights. That's how he beat Anderson Silva.
I still think he lost that fight, but he got knocked out.
But I'm saying
that's how he beat Dan Henderson.
He got knocked out. Technically, should have been called a knockout at the end of the 3rd round. But he did come back and win that 4th round. Yeah. How? By constant, relentless pressure while Anderson Silva was still trying to get
winning that 5th round against Dan Henderson in a fight that was up for grabs.
Yes.
Because by winning the 5th round, to me, it wasn't even a debate.
Yes, for sure. I think a lot of people, obviously, they're going to be really excited just to see GSP back in there. But I'm not going to say it's almost a guarantee, but like if I'm putting money down, I'm putting money on Michael Bisping to win the fight. Just saying. There's a lot of things.
Weight classes, people.
Yeah. and the thing that really sucks about it is whoever wins that fight, neither one of them are going to be defending that belt.
You think?
I really think that. Whoever wins that fight, they're done. Whoever loses that fight, they're done. So this is like a retirement fight for both guys, I think.
You would think Bisping's done?
I think so.
I guess he has nothing to fight for.
He says he said it himself that this very well may be his last fight. And of course, listen, I guess it depends on how it plays out. Like if he goes up there and gets a quick knockout of GSP, or if he does something crazy and finishes the fight early, yeah, he may look at fighting Robert Whittaker. Just depending, it's a lot more money. If he comes away unscathed, I can see that. But if it's a tough fight, if it's a grind of a fight like most GSP fights are, I could definitely see this being his last fight.
Do you see basically what would you? We don't want to know people on this show, but you think Robert Whittaker basically the face of the 185-pound division?
Yeah, I think so.
But as much as I like Robert Whittaker, he's beatable.
He's
looking good against Joel and stuff. But if he gets somebody that's young, kind of how like Tony Ferguson is, very good fighter, really good, but he got somebody in there, a dog like Kevin, that's technical and quicker and motivated. Yeah. There's nobody right now at 185, but who's to say in the next year or so that cat doesn't pop out? Like, I can see him defending the belt a time or two, but I don't see him going on no Anderson Silva time. I'll fall out this chair.
Listen, I like.
And he's a really good fighter. I'm not trying to hate on him, but I don't sit there and say like, man, this dude gonna be champion in 2020. I don't see it.
I don't know, man. For me, I get the Tony Ferguson analogy. For me, he's more like the 185-pound Max Holloway. He doesn't do anything particularly great, but he's just damn good everywhere. He's a solid dude. Like he's not going to get hurt. He's not going to do anything crazy to take any wild chances. He's going to make you fight his fight, which is stay within yourself, and he's just going to.
But does he have an X factor though? Because fights that he hasn't been behind, like we seen Max come from behind. You can't teach that. Whitaker's that guy. He gets ahead, close out. You ain't gonna. And you saw where you went. Once he got ahead, he wasn't gonna lose that fight. But the roles are reversed. I don't think he makes enough adjustments on the fly. He makes them round and round, but he doesn't make them inside. The people that are special make it. Like people realize Conor McGregor even makes adjustments inside the round because once he the last fight against Eddie Alvarez, he knew he couldn't rush in there to get the shots, so he casually let him off. Like he sit there, hit him, bing, bing, and get him to come to him. Mm-hmm. So we got to that middle, little stuff like that. I don't think he's technical enough to do that. Well, Max Holloway, like I told y'all people, that's why he got rid of Jose Aldo. Because not only he's quicker than you, he's playing chess, and people don't give him enough credit for that. I wonder when he's gonna be back in the cage. I think in December.
Possibly.
Oh, rumor. We don't do rumors on here, but I actually pulled to you. I was like looking at Twitter for the show. You see Dana White shoot down that McGregor Diaz 3. He's like, this ain't boxing. That shit's make believe. No.
So Dana White,
he shot it down.
Of course, Dana White. The rumor came out again about Conor versus Nate 3. For those of you listening, because we're going down to December. Dana White viciously knocked down the rumor, which all but confirms the fight is going to be happening in December. Anytime Dana White comes out and defends something that strongly, it's probably going to happen. So the fight's probably going to happen. But I'll say this. The fact that even that rumor is out there and the fact that fight is even a slight possibility pisses me off so much. Because you are putting on an interim title fight for the 155-pound belt, and then you potentially have the champion fighting someone else. It makes no GD sense.
You still what's Mikaela? You still mad about that?
I am mad about it.
But the way I look at it, it's so different than GSP and Bisping.
Exactly, and they're completely like if that goes down, you're destroying the last bit of relevancy you have to your titles. You're essentially just putting titles on every pay-per-view to say you have titles.
I've been telling you that.
I know. I agree with you. But I'll tell you what, if they do that fight, it better not be for the title. And, I don't know, man. It is frustrating because how are you going to have Conor McGregor not defend his title for one? And then let's say...
In 2 years.
Let's say the fight happens, Conor McGregor goes in there as a 155-pound champ and loses to Nate Diaz. Are you going to do an immediate rematch for Conor McGregor to get Nate Diaz 4, and then you still have an interim champion sitting out over here? But it's just chaos, man. They can't do that.
They can't do that. They became because Conor is on that whole level where he calls the shots. Not too many people can get it. Call the shots. I asked Dana this if he saw our interview we did with the scrum and stuff after during Mayweather-McGregor week. Yeah. I asked him, and everybody looked at me like I was crazy. Does Conor basically got that drawing power now? Like, Floyd changed his life. He ain't changing people's life like that, but I like to think if he fight for no belt, he fights Nate Diaz. Hell, he already changed his life. Nate Diaz really doesn't have to fight no more. Right. And he fought him for a non-title. Right. So now, after all this stuff, fighting him twice and the Mayweather-McGregor, he's changing people's lives, so it doesn't matter for a belt. That's why they can get away with that.
But that's the thing, man. Like,
he can fight whoever say when some dude gets a lot of hype outside over in Ireland or somebody from Bellator, man, he's knocking out people. He wants to fight. He beat Conor McGregor. Hey, get him over here. And Conor McGregor makes $35 million. This dude makes $5 or $10 million. Bet you he ain't never seen that money in his life. He changing his life. He's got that type of pull out there. He's the only person in UFC that can do that.
He does, but
maybe Ronda. I don't know how much Nunes got paid for whooping my girl Ronda in 187.
Not all that much.
207. My bad.
Not all that much. Not all that much from what I've been told rather. Been heard. Wow, that's not even a thing.
Huh?
But I said been heard. Like that's not even a phrase. Not proper grammar usage at all. But no, I think like if you schedule that fight and you schedule it for the title, like you're really putting yourself in an identity crisis against being a sport and then being just purely entertainment. Because from the sporting aspect, from the relevancy of the championship and how the rankings are supposed to work, There's no way in hell Nate Diaz should be fighting Conor McGregor at this point when you have an interim title. So, I mean, again, we're talking about a rumor. Again, Dana denied it. We'll see how it goes. And, of course, there were some reports out there that were saying it was already signed and everything like that. It's just absolutely ridiculous and false. So, you know, it's ridiculousness.
So do you want to shift gears to the, I won't say the elephant in the room, but what everybody been talking about?
Yeah, man. So let's talk about the first side of our title of our podcast.
I want to put a disclaimer on this. Although we're two African Americans in a sport where there's no black people covering it, and you got a lot of old school black people in boxing, we have pretty down the middle views. Matt's more quote unquote, as they say in the street, woke, which I don't understand, than me, because just because, like, for instance, I'm the guys, you know, me and you will talk. You better feel more passionate about me, but I see what you're saying. I don't have to. It seems like black people, they're just as bad. Oh, you're not woke enough because you're not support. Like, just because I don't want to put my stuff on there, because I deal with a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds, and basically being in Texas and in the South, dealing with a lot of conservative Caucasian people, you have to go about things a certain way. You can't just do that. Like, I can sit there, like, there's a couple cops. I'm cool with them on a personal level. Like, they've done some stuff for me, boom, behind the scenes. Like, they're legitimately good people. They're all offended about the whole protest and stuff like that. I'm not going to sit there and be like, F you, man, you're not cool after all. Like, you're not disrespecting me. You have your opinion. But one thing I don't understand is the main thing with the national anthem is about you express your opinion, and you have that. But then when people do, oh, I don't like your opinion, you can't do that. You're disrespected.
Yeah, man.
Or my last thing, please, Caucasian people, stop making it about a damn flag. These fools are not protesting about a flag.
Yes.
It's about racial inequality. And then when somebody do something, being that we're both Cowboy fans, like, to me, I'm glad Jerry is front and center. If the Cowboys did what they did last night without Jerry and his whole crew, because his kids are basically the future owners, it does not go, for me, it doesn't go over. The fact that they're the ones that hire and fire. The fact that they were front and center, I can respect it. I would have been a little put off had I didn't see no Jones, or even you just see there's no Jerry, you see Steven and Charlotte. It's like, no, they're the future owners. We didn't see the guy right now. So the fact that Jerry, an NFL Hall of Famer and world-renowned billionaire, was out there, regardless if you like what they did, it meant something. You see Robert Kraft out there, and nobody saying him. He had his ass in the box, sipping on some Cartier.
I mean, you hit on a lot of different angles of the whole ordeal. I'll start with this. I'll start with earlier in the week and then kind of get back to the Cowboys, because, I mean, the protests have been going on, right? And as you said, it's not about the flag, which a lot of people are misconstruing now.
Very much.
Because they think that the players are protesting the flag. And what we've seen is a lot of people are so angry. They have, like, all of a sudden this superhero patriotism that comes out of them whenever someone does something during the anthem. I mean, it's extremely misguided and extremely uninformed to, like, read all these different social media posts and all these different public figures saying, you know, they need to stand for the flag and all this other crap, and they need to stop disrespecting America. They're ungrateful, they're millionaires. Like, there's so many different angles that are so wrong about this. Especially, like, the one that pisses me off, I think, the most is saying that they're millionaires. How are they oppressed? Like, everything about that is wrong. For one. Everything about your statement that is wrong. Like, obviously, the main reason they're doing this is because they're doing it for people that don't have a voice. And they're doing it for the racial inequalities when it comes to police violence, shooting unarmed black kids, unarmed black people. And yes, and of course, as the thing has continued to grow, they're talking about the unjust killings of people as well, like, regardless of race. So that's been a thing that's kind of tacked on to it, you know, as it's grown. But when Colin Kaepernick did it, initially, it started last year, started when Obama was in office, right? And so this week we saw when Donald Trump started going on his little rants on Twitter, which, you know...
that fire. I'm surprised you said his name.
Which I have my thing about Donald Trump tweets. I mean, if you follow my timeline right now...
45!
It's like every day. It's like I just sit there, hit refresh, and it's like, oh, It's dumb Trump tweet o'clock. You know what I'm saying? So it's always something to look forward to in not a good way. And he wants to get on there on Twitter and say if a player wants the privilege of making $1 million, privilege of making millions of dollars in the NFL or other leagues, he should not be allowed to disrespect our great American flag or country. So essentially, Donald, he said the thing at the press conference, right? That pissed off everybody, calling them sons of bitches, right? You don't call, okay, first off, with that whole speech, he went harder calling NFL players sons of bitches than he did on the neo-Nazis in Charlottesville. Starting, a guy literally shot in the crowd and nothing happened to that guy. Fired his gun in the crowd of people.
There's some good people, according to Trump.
Fine people on both sides. Fine people on both sides.
But just to go hit on the Alabama thing, what about the people? Yeah, there was way too many people. I would kind of be leery if I had a kid in college going there to Alabama. It's like they only care about you literally for your football abilities. They like this in here. I want to get our show rated out.
Yes, and I think most people should know that. They should know that. We got a little rainstorm creeping up on us. Wow, did not expect that. So if you hear that in the background, that's what it is, folks. But yeah, especially, listen, it's not surprising whatsoever, especially to do that in Alabama. Listen, Trump knows his crowds. He knows who he's dealing with. Everybody knows who he's dealing with at this point. It's white supremacist friendly crowds. Let's put it that way. Everything he says is white supremacist friendly. To go out there and attack, he didn't say a particular name. He did not say black athletes, but everybody knew what he was implying. When you see one of those guys taking a knee, when you want these NFL owners, say, get that son of a bitch out of here. Okay. When I saw that, I just sat there and stared at my screen and trying to gather my thoughts, and I was like, this is really the president of the United States of America who just attacked someone's First Amendment rights harder than they attacked white supremacists in Charlottesville.
And then go back to my girl, Jamel Hill, who we're trying to get on the show.
Yes.
Did she not hit it right on the head? And what's she doing? Telling the truth.
She nailed it. Listen, I don't care if she works for ESPN. I don't care if she works for the government. I don't care who she works for. I don't care if she works at the local post office. She was right. She was 100% right. Okay? And the reason why it pisses so many people off is because they know she's right. And that's the thing. They just don't want to be called out on it. You know? And so Louise... No, go ahead.
One thing that's annoying, too, is... As you know, I have a lot of Caucasian people in my life, family members and such. Why they're struggling with, there's so many people in white America that want to comment but don't really want to get to the issue. And when you talk about the issue, they get uncomfortable or be like, basically, I support that and da-da-da, but they don't want to be part of the solution. So it's kind of like you are part of the problem because you're not doing nothing about it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's true. And I get that, like, if it's like in your everyday life or whatever, you're going to the grocery store, you know, you're just trying to get your daily chores done. Of course, I don't expect you to strike up an argument in the middle of your day while you're trying to get your stuff done. But if it's an isolated thing, you know, you're sitting at home or whatever, I mean, you know, some people don't like to get political on social media, and I get that too. But at the same time, if you agree with the protest, if you agree with some of these people are saying, I mean, it doesn't hurt to co-sign on it. To let people know that, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like for instance, I retweeted a picture of me and Jamel when all that stuff happened. I got people on my timeline from Southeast Texas.
I saw that.
Come on, man, you're better than that.
I saw that. Is there any coincidence? Is there any coincidence whatsoever that everybody that's hating on what's going on right now are middle-aged white people? Just saying. I mean, call a spade a spade. That's what it is. Those are the ones that are getting the most outrage. And we saw today on ABC News posted this video up of people burning up their season tickets. People burning up Terrell Suggs jersey, saying that they're not going to be going to the NFL anymore. Yada yada. They're so pissed off because of the disrespect, the people, the NFL players, and the NFL is allowing this to happen. The disrespect for our flag.
But I think it's many. There's one guy made a point, and he was the one that did not agree with Nealon talking about 20% of basically he said us bought our tickets and stuff. There's gonna be 20% more new fans because they did it.
Exactly. And let me ask. I mean, so all these people out there that are claiming it's disrespect to the flag. It's disrespect for the country. You're so focused on the action, right? Probably my favorite quote this past weekend was like saying the NFL players are protesting the flag is like saying Rosa Parks was protesting public transportation. And that's what it is. Have you honestly, before you got super redneck rage going, did you actually sit down and ask, why are they doing that? Did you actually do that? I mean, that's my question to people. Did you actually ask the question, why are they taking a knee during the anthem? And if you asked that question and you honestly tried to find the answer, you would probably agree that, yeah, there's some unfairness going on with this police violence. Or maybe not. Maybe you're one of the hashtag Blue Lives, hashtag All Lives Matter.
It's two parts now. First of all, there's no such thing as Blue Lives.
Right. It's called Blue Jobs. for one.
And second of all, how's a knee disrespectful? I still don't get that. And nobody's answered that question. How's a knee disrespectful? I can see maybe sitting down. I can see turning your back. But sitting down on a knee, how is that disrespectful?
I'll tell you what's disrespectful is while players this weekend were taking their knees and paying attention to the anthem still, they're taking a knee. They're saying, I'm protesting what's going on with police violence and everything. Taking a knee, still got their hands over their hearts, still paying attention to the anthem. But you got people in the stands that are pissed off, that are booing, that are throwing stuff, that are cursing at them, throwing racial slurs at them. Who's more disrespectful here? I mean, let's be real.
Prime example, our Cowboys last night. Let's
get into Cowboys.
How did you know about the PA system? Well, we kind of have two different opinions. Once again,
yes,
we see similar stuff, but we see something different. Because for me, it was a big deal as a Cowboy fan. Because as we know, being from Dallas and knowing people in the media, Jerry ain't gonna go for that. But nobody's heard from Jerry, and the Cowboys are one of the few teams that Jerry, he ain't like Cuban. Cuban will be slick on the Mavericks' point of view. He's either full bam or he's very slick. Jerry's bam regardless. So I'm like, I'm just going to give Jerry a chance and see what Jerry do on Monday. I sit back. The fact that he was front and center, being a 7-year-old white guy, and he had his kids, the future owners of the Cowboys, front and center, for me was enough. Because you got other owners like Robert Kraft and them, they up in there. And you got like the Jaguars owner, I ain't never know what he looked like other than Madden. up in there locking ours. But to me, that means something. But to take it a step further, like, they basically not putting Colin Kaepernick back in the NFL because he took a knee. And we see this garbage quarterbacks on Sundays. The next thing is for him to get a job. I'm not one of those kid folks that's like, oh, he needs to get a job like tomorrow. But if somebody's going to really take action and just not go through the stages, he needs to get a job by somebody by the end of the year. But for me, the fact that Jerry was front and center, they quote unquote didn't disrespect the flag, like he's on a $4 billion conglomerate. There's a reason that you can't tell somebody how to protest that's running the show and own something. It's just not. You can't do that.
Here's where I disagree. Well, I'll start this. I will. Listen, the fact that Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job right now is ridiculous. If you've been watching,
that's blasphemy, as Stephen A. would say.
If you've been watching the quarterback play through 3 weeks of football, the fact that Colin Kaepernick is not a starter or even a backup on some of these teams,
it's crazy.
It's flagrant. It's flagrant, is what it is. It's what it is at this point.
Very.
Okay. Addressing my Cowboys. I love my Cowboys, right? See my Cowboys here. I got a Cowboys hat on. I got Dez drawings over there right behind you. I got DeMarco Murray right above him, right up there too. Listen, as a football fan, I love my Cowboys. Right? There's been a lot of controversy.
Are you on boycotting? While I'm thinking about it, what is wrong with these kid folks?
Listen. I understand why the whole boycott thing, but at the same time, I'm able to separate the issue from the game because I enjoy the game. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm not going to go on this whole thing of like, oh, we need to boycott the product, start taking money out. Listen, NFL doesn't get very much of my money, period. For one, they'll get my views. Like, I'll watch the TV. Like, I'll go, I may go to one game here or there, but listen, they're not getting a lot of my money, period. Okay? Listen, I enjoy the game very much. Fantasy football, hardcore, like every year, so Sundays, my days, right? During the NFL season. So I'm able to separate what happens before the game and what's happening in the game, right? So I'm still a football fan of the Dallas Cowboys, for sure. But everything off the field surrounding the Cowboys right now pisses me off so much. And the fact that the way they handled this protest, the way that they did it, at the end of the day, they didn't protest a damn thing. And the reason I say that is because on Monday night, the biggest stage of the week, right? Monday night, Sunday night, you can have that argument, whichever one's bigger. But the only game of the day on Monday, the last game of the week, after you've seen what other teams have done, on the heels of Trump's idiotic tweets, more people were doing more things, right? We saw some teams stay in the locker room so that the division wouldn't be shown between the players. They wanted to come out as a collective group. That's what they did with the Steelers, right? Which
did happen.
Which is a way. It's a way to circumvent the whole thing again. Like, the whole idea is to see which players are taking a stand, right?
Yeah.
A protest is never supposed to be convenient. Okay, so what we saw on Monday night, we saw Jerry Jones putting his foot down and saying, "Listen, I understand that there's something going on here," but he completely trivialized the whole idea by saying, we are all going to the middle of the field to take a knee briefly before the anthem. And then we're going to go sidelines and lock arms. And that part trivialized the whole thing for me, for one, because they did it before the anthem, right? They had to do it Jerry's way or it was going to be no way. Or you're going to be on the shit list, as people were saying, in the rumor behind the scenes, right?
Dallas, yeah. I heard both of them people do that. Let Dad take a DC almost how many more touchdowns he can't as a Cowboy.
So they completely took away the entire spirit of the thing. It's to stand up and make a statement. They didn't make a statement here. That's not what they did. They did it was an extension of their warm-up process is what this was. Because you didn't see any players kneeling during the anthem. You saw, of course, everybody was locked in arms. But the fact that the PA announcer in the stadium comes over, and now all players will lock arms and a sign of solidarity.
For what?
This entire thing is not about solidarity. It's about protesting the original issue. Right?
And how come people are not talking about the Cardinals? They were like on the field, like they weren't even on the field. People saying they just locked arms. They locked arms with the military people.
Yeah,
but nobody's like they got like a huge red card pass.
So what we saw on Monday was kind of that swerve that Donald Trump was trying to make it about. They were trying to make it about the flag and the country, saying we're solid, we're agreeing with the flag, we're agreeing with the country, and yada yada yada. They were trying to swerve it in that direction, whereas what we saw last week was more of the real thing, where certain players were taking knees in silent protest, supporting of what Kaepernick was doing and building onto that. This, what we saw on Monday, was #fake news.
What do you think about the Caucasian players that just put their arm on the shoulder?
I'm not mad at that.
What does that do? What does that do? If you feel that strongly, your ass can take a knee too.
That I agree, but I mean, I'm not gonna force, I don't want to force people into a certain thing. I'm not gonna, like you were saying, I'm not gonna get mad at certain people for not doing it. I mean, you're just showing me what you really think. That's all. That's what this whole thing is about. That's what the protesting is about. And the fact that some people can't separate the fact that this isn't about the flag is another thing. Some people are saying, it's about the military. It's showing disrespect to the military and disrespect to the veterans. I've seen more veteran support for this thing. Just about as many, people that have served, people that I know that have served, people online, random people posting pictures of them taking a knee in their backyard, saying those kids do whatever the hell they want. That's what we fought for. That's why we had that First Amendment. If you're forced to stand for an anthem, you might as well go and be in North Korea.
But why do you have that anthem? You thought you have it every day when you go to work.
I'm not even going to get to the fact that, hey, the government actually paid the NFL to make that whole ceremony a thing. I won't even get into all that because people don't want to hear those facts.
What do you think about the video they got with showing everybody, it's like a commercial video. It's got OBJ in them, and it's got Tom Brady getting helped up by somebody that's hitting them. I was they're not taking too much.
It's a good message, but they're commercializing the issue.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing. They're trying to change the narrative. That's what they're trying to do.
What do you think about the word of the week? It is not protest. Divisive. I'm tired of hearing about such and such being divisive. That's the new trending word of the week.
I mean, that's what it is, though. That's really what it is. Especially, hell.
How about it? It's not right. It's got to be divisive.
The person running our country is the most divisive president that's ever, at least in my recent memory. I'm sure you can go back and probably find somebody.
We ate these kids here. We don't know about all that. But here's the thing, though. Like I tell significant other family members, this dude didn't just show up. Nobody talks about that. He didn't just show up. So that's why I'm thinking, like, there's a lot of people that agree with him because he didn't just show up. As you saw in Alabama, there was nobody who was booing. I didn't hear a single boo when he made the original comment.
Yeah, and that's what's disgusting about it. That's what's disgusting about it, man. Because there's still so many people that will get caught up in it. They hang on every word this dude says, man. Like, it's like, you really have no conscience. Like, you can't think. Like, it's like this dude has people brainwashed. Right. He literally just called people sons of bitches for exercising a First Amendment right. And everybody's saying, do it on your own time. Don't do it while listen.
But it said, y'all not the owner.
I want to ask you a question. Out there, people that don't agree with the protest, that don't agree with doing it during the anthem, when the hell is the perfect time to protest? When is your ideal time to protest? Because it's not during the anthem. It's not. There is no perfect time. You're always mad. You're always mad about something. It's not while you're sitting at a bus. It's not while you're sitting at the courthouse while you're protesting outside. Don't do it then because you're disrupting the proceedings. Let's see. What are the other? There's wherever there's a protest, there's always going to be a group of people. Oh, don't do it now. Why are you doing it now? You're never going to be happy, and that's the whole idea of a protest. Is to make you pay attention. Now that we have your attention, please pay attention to why we're doing it. That's all I'm asking.
But I don't get is why people so up and on that they do it, they quote unquote on their job. It's not you don't own that part. Like Jerry, Robert Kraft, they could get mad. They cutting checks. Yes. Y'all other people, what y'all doing? Why y'all? They protested on the job. Okay. Their job allowed them to do it. They got commercials that they showed almost at every time out. Basically saying they support the protest. So evidently their employers are cool with it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not during the game. It's before the game. It's right before the game. During a thing that the NFL was paid to do just a few years back. I think it was before 2008 or 2009. It wasn't a thing. Go back, research it. That's just facts. But, I don't care. Like, it's one of those things. Listen, you can do it while you're working, quote unquote working, but these guys, they're not going in to punch a clock in at the post office. They're not clocking in, at the grocery store to go sack groceries and protesting there. These guys are in a different platform. Yes, it's quote unquote while they're on the clock. They're on the field about to play a game, but these guys have They have a celebrity behind them, so to speak. They have a voice. They have a platform. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. And you got it. They have a platform to speak for and influence people. That's why everybody says when athletes say that they don't want to be role models, they're like, oh, no, you are a role model. You're in this place getting paid millions of dollars. So you're saying that these role models can only say certain things now? Like... And it's like, listen, they're role models, okay? You put them on that platform. A long time ago, people, when Charles Barkley said, I'm not a role model. Now, you are. You're one of the best players in the game. You have to be a role model, right? So
I think that's A on the parent. But why do people always see, like when the NFL goes on strike, it's billionaires fighting with billionaires. Like, not that many. This is not the NBA. There's not everybody's like, look at Dak. Yeah. Dak is not making millions of dollars. Yeah. Look at Anthony Brown. He's not making millions of dollars. Like I get. If you look down the rosters, I bet you under 30, about 35, maybe 40% are actual millionaires. Over half of them are not even making six figures. They're making a good living. That's not getting twisted, but they ain't just sitting there just like, boom, I'm set for life. Like somebody like Ezekiel Elliott, Des Bryant, Jason Witten, they're set for life. But a lot of people aren't set for life like that. People like, it's billionaires and billionaires. What's that? I didn't know how you have to make a certain amount of money to not protest.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. They're putting a qualification. Like, you make a certain amount of money, you start losing your First Amendment rights. You start losing rights as an American because you have a certain amount of money. Like Jason Whitlock said, LeBron James is immune to racism because he makes so much money. That's the most retarded, ignorant shit you can ever say in your life. Listen.
Look at the source.
Exactly. You know, like, that's the type of mentality that's just so wrong, man. Like, it doesn't matter how much money you make. I don't care if you're on welfare. I don't care if you're freaking Bill Gates. You have the same rights to protest whatever you want, say whatever you want. And that has no bearing whatsoever.
So do you think like I got this article on the Undefeated. It's titled "Did Cowboys owner Jerry Jones kneel with players for the right reasons?" So do you think Jerry did it just for show?
Yeah, he did it just for show. He did it just for show. He was protecting his investment. He didn't want to seem like, you know, I mean, obviously, let's be real. We're in Texas. We got a lot of people. A lot of people in Texas that won't agree with the idea of the protest, the spirit of the protest. We would have had so many people burning Cowboys hats and flags. Hell, there's still even people talking about that on Twitter right now.
Imagine if they did that here in Dallas. That's the only thing I kind of wish for us being Texans, how that would have went down.
Listen. Jerry was protecting his investment. That's all he was doing. And I think the fact that he did it that way, you know, like I said, I've already expressed, like, I'm not happy with it because you really trivialized the entire deal. You made it about something that it wasn't about. And, you know, you made it like this. You made it a joke is what they made it. Like, I think the whole spirit of the entire thing died on Monday night after that. That's what I think. But now that it seems to have so many people so upset, so many up in arms, so many people burning their own shit that they paid their own money for, please pay attention to the reason why they're doing it. Stop saying it's about the flag, as we both said so many times over these past few minutes.
Yeah, it's like I know you're more vocal than me, but if somebody remotely said, "Well, they're disrespecting the flag," okay, thank you for talking. Like I'm not even entertaining even a conversation. It's like you don't know.
My first question to them: do you know why they're kneeling? That's my first question to anybody that says that. They're protesting the flag. Do you know why they're kneeling? Oh, there's disrespect for their country. Do you know why they're kneeling? Have you asked that question? That's my instant rebuttal, and that should be your rebuttal as well to anybody out there listening and that are trying to, try to make sense of it. Just ask that question. Just listen to what they're doing, and I think the whole idea, the whole reason, why it was such blown up is because the leader of our country decided to go out there and use the strongest language he's used to date.
you got to be calling him 45, man. I like 45. Somebody knows who was like, you don't say that. Like I got Matthew Wells rubbing off on me. He don't get a day. He just 45.
I mean, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. The dude's a clown, man. He's a clown.
He's a bum.
You bum. Yes, LeBron. LeBron came through with the strongest tweet of the weekend, calling him straight up what he is.
Now, what McCall went hard on him too, Greg Popovich.
Greg Popovich was super hard on him. Whoa. Oh my God, I don't have that pulled
He
up
said
right
it's sad and comical all at the same time.
He went super hard. And I mean, that's not the first time he's done it either. He's been doing that. And I mean, there's a lot of people that have that same, that same idea.
Like I said, he didn't just show up.
Yeah. But again, it's like, just pay attention to the people that are doing these things, man. It's actually it's actually comical, man. Because you know that they haven't even opened their ears to listen. They haven't begun to listen.
Do you think as kin folks, aka brothers, for people that don't know what that means, do you think that our fellow kin folks hurt the witness basically with the way they act? Do they take it too extreme? Because to me, it's like you ain't doing no favors. Like, yeah, what you saying has some validity, but you can't sit here and ignore certain facts. Like, you can't twist it to affect your argument.
I don't know, man. There's always going to be people that take things the wrong way and steer it in the wrong direction, and people that they'll try to do too much.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of DTM, and shout out to Michael and Jamel. There's a lot of DTM in the kinfolk community.
Yeah.
A lot of DTM. That's what I'm talking about more. That's the best way to sum it up. There's a lot of people doing too much for no reason, and to me that's hurting the cause.
Yeah,
because some people, there's some Caucasian people in America that's sitting like really like, I need to research, I need to see what this all about.
Yes.
And then as soon as you see kinfolk over here they friends with since high school going too much, they're wrong, and they just tune them out. So they're hurting like they say in church, they're hurting the witness.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, like if you're trying to, get people to actually, listen, steer it back to what the whole thing was about from the beginning. Like, leave Trump out of it, because Trump trying to make it about himself. He inserted himself into this thing. He's trying to make it into himself, trying to change the whole narrative. Bring it back to what it's all about in the beginning. That's what we need to do. And I get some people want to make jokes, make people examples, yada yada, their ignorance, however you want to say it.
Exactly.
But
that's why I didn't suggest us having a kinfolk guest, because we be DTMing by proxy, as they say.
Hey.
I thought about like maybe we should have somebody that's gonna go hard, but I'm like, no. Because I think what we're doing now, we have an open forum. If you want to send us tweets or questions, we're open-minded people here. We are open. We like everybody. We're for equality and doing things the right way. But there's right and there's wrong. 45 is wrong.
Absolutely, he is wrong.
Good way to end the show.
Yeah. That's the way to end it, man. I mean, like, listen, I could go back and forth about this all night long.
Man, get F's.
Yeah. I mean,
if you see Matt on your local ballot, please vote for Matthew Wells.
No, I'm not doing all that, man. I'm not doing all that, but I will try to make sure people understand what's really going on. It's just frustrating to me to see people take shit the wrong way, man. Especially at the influence of Trumpito. So, anyways.
Good way to end the show strong, man. A little everything.
Yeah, a little bit of everything, man. Shout out to Mikaela Meyer joining us.
Appreciate you coming to the show.
Appreciate her joining us. She's gonna be a superstar, man. She really is.
Remember the man that told you the plan before it happened. We didn't just show up on her.
Yeah, we did. Absolutely. So again, shout out to Mikaela Meyer. Do your thing on December 9th. Happy to have you on again after that. Yeah. Again, hit us up on Twitter at Mr. M. Wells Art, for myself at Kendrick Johnson. On Twitter, leave off that N on Kendrick Johnson. Show some love to the podcast at Slip and Dip Podcast on Twitter as well. Of course, subscribe to us on iTunes and Spreaker.
Spreaker's starting to grow, brother. People should hit that Spreaker up.
Starting to hit it up, man. Starting to hit it up. That's where you can find us. Till next week, we out. Peace.